Hello, my name is Elijah Wells, and today I'm talking about the anticipated movies I am looking forward for 2024. Of course, 2024 is going to be a really big year for cinema, so we're just going to have to explain a couple of ground rules, as in, I'm talking of the UK release calendar or the Great Britain calendar because the US and the UK releases may differ slightly, and also I'm not going to include a lot of streaming releases or indie films, as they tend to announce their releases either at the last minute or later on in the year. And also, like what happened with 2020 with COVID and what happened 2023 with the strikes, all these movies, depending on what circumstances, may be delayed due to something, either due to production issues or just something big that affected Hollywood. But anyways, let's talk about the films I'm checking out for 2024. Winter releases. For the 17th of January, we have the Mean Girls remake, which stars John Hamm and Tina Fey, but not including Lindsay Lohan or Rachel McAdams at all for some reason. Even though, again, this is a musical remake, judging from the trailer, it's going to be a lot more like TikToky references and does have the song Getting Back by Olivia Rodrigo, but I might check it out. Maybe, but I might check that out. Then we have in the a little further down in February 2nd, we have Argyle by Matthew Vaughn with Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Catherine O'Hare, John Cena, and Sam Rockwell, I think, and Samuel L. Jackson as well, and also Walter White as well. Again, this is as a person who works in cinema, I think this is the trailer that just keeps popping up. I mean, Bryan Cranston, that was his name. The trailer just keeps popping up at my social media feeds and at my cinema, since I work on tills and there's this big massive TV that shows all the trailers, and this one just pops up like way too much to the point it just gets very nauseatingly just very boring. It just becomes really, really stupid in my opinion. It's just, I think this movie just better be good, just because it just spamming me when I'm at work, like being shown at the TV section at the cinema I work at, being like, yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about the movie, but the movie better be good because it just kept popping up all over the place on my trailer. And also, for 14th of February, we have Bob Marley One Love, which is a biopic movie about Bob Marley and the Wailers. Again, I did see the documentary about him, which was very fascinating at best. Like a bit, like the fact that he barely met his father and had numerous children with numerous women, and also that he briefly lived in London for a little bit and actually got assassinated at a hotel we were staying at in Jamaica, and also actually stopped a pending civil war in Jamaica, which is something that's, in my opinion, truly fascinating. But I might give that a watch as well. Spring releases. For March the 1st, there's Dune Part 2, or June Part 2, however you like to pronounce it. It's the Denis Villeneuve's already massive film that's was massive undertaking, being adapted as already one of the most celebrated sci-fi novels of all time, and split into two parts. Or I did hear that he's also adapting Dune Messiah as well, which is a titty bit weird because I kind of anticipated in the back of my head that Dune 2 would be essentially be the closing piece for Dune, but knowing that Dune Messiah is coming out, or maybe it is, but it kind of throws me off the loop a little bit, like, oh, I thought that was going to be the last one, but then this and that, don't get me wrong, I do definitely want to check out the Dune Part 2 film, because I absolutely really liked the first one, and I'm just hoping that this movie does not get delayed again. Like, the amount of times this movie just got delayed, like the first one, was just absolutely crazy in my opinion. And for 8th of March, the next week, being Kung Fu Panda 4. This time with the usual cast as well, as Jack Black, Angelina Jolie, Lucy Liu, and Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen, Bryan Cranston, but also new ones like Viola Davis, Awkwafina, Hee Kwon Gui. Even though I was like, okay, the fourth one, okay, even though I feel like the third one's a pretty good closure, but I can make an exception for Kung Fu Panda 4, like a fourth one, but when I checked out a trailer with the new villain being betrayed by Viola Davis, I was like, ooh, now I'm interested. Ooh, Seven Nation Army playing in the trailer. Ooh, martial arts action! Like, I just get more and more giddy like a child since I was only like 10 years old when the first film came out. I was like, it's almost like the iCarly meme. Like, you're a kid, you're still interested. When you're an adult, being me right now, you're also still interested. Like, I might give it a kick about, and let's kick some ass. And 15th of March, we have Drive Away Dolls, being directed by one of the Coen brothers as well, but starring Matt Damon, Pedro Pascal. Again, from the trailer that was going, from the movie that was going to come out last year, but got delayed due to the strikes, unfortunately. But the trailer itself looks really funny and really whimsical in a dark way, like something that's to the signature of the Coen brothers, who are the director of this movie. Again, I am definitely wanting to check this movie out and maybe have a laugh out too, but again, that's 15th of March, Drive Away Dolls. And this is the biggie one for 29th of March, we have Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. After the first Ghostbusters, well, the modern one being Afterlife, was essentially an apology piece essay after the 2016 film, well, pretty much had a absolute hellstorm on the internet just because some far-right lunatics couldn't handle the fact that Ghostbusters were being betrayed by a woman. Come on, grow a pair. But for Frozen Empire, this time they're heading back to New York for the first time in like 30, 40 years or something. And this time, it looks a little bit more interesting as snow and ice has penetrated New York in the summers for the first time in its history. And would you say it's more than a nipper, as in it's so cold it may actually kill you, as in a typical winter night in Yorkshire. But anyways, it does look very interesting, but might check it out, but I haven't seen Afterlife yet, but might give it a go. And on the same day, 29th of March, we have Mickey 17, or Mikey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho of Parasite, Snowpiercer, Memories of Murder, The Host, and OKJ. This is like his third installment of his English language films he did, like Snowpiercer and OKJ, with Robert Pattinson, Mark Ruffalo, Tanya Gunnell, and Stephen Yeun as well. And it's basically about a clone and Mars who, every time he gets reincarnated or cloned or something, his memories get intact or something like that. Even though we only had a basis of a plot so far and just only one teaser trailer, if you call it loosely, being the just a revolving shot of what looks like Robert Pattinson in like some sunbathing, tanning salon something, or I don't know what it is, but I love it already because Parasite, in my opinion, is definitely one of my favourite films to come out in recent memory, or the past few years. And I'm definitely very, very excited to check out what this is. Even though the one thing that does certainly concern me a lot at the moment is just, even though it's now just been past Christmas and the release date is definitely closing in by the day and it's released in late March, of all places, we haven't seen any trailers besides that teaser trailer I just mentioned. I might be anticipating a possible delay or something, or maybe get premiered at a Cannes Film Festival since Parasite did win Palme d'Or after all, but again, I'm just baiting my breath, like, I'm just hoping this could be legitimately brilliant. And another big one for 12th of April, or probably Easter around that point, we have Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. I've heard like loads of good things about Godzilla -1, which was absolutely gigantic, even for Toho standards. Like, the movie's already been considered one of the best films of the year. It's getting some nominations here and left, right and centre. But again, with the MonsterVerse that Legendary's been putting out, I have a bit of a weird mixed relationship. Like, okay, I wasn't a fan of one of the Godzilla films that came out, like King of the Monsters, but I thought the first crossover film was okay for me at best, but the dialogue was kind of stiff in some areas. But again, I might definitely want to check out Godzilla v Kong. But also, something a little bit more controversial, agreeably, is Back to Black, being released on the same day, 12th of April, which is an Amy Winehouse biopic film, which Again, has got some, definitely ruffled some feathers a little bit in my opinion, just because, again, Amy Winehouse had a really troubled history with alcohol abuse and drug addiction, and unfortunately passed away in 2011 at the age of 27 due to her alcoholism, unfortunately. I did see the documentary by Asif Kaleb, who did Senna and Diego Maradona. It was definitely one of the most depressing and one of the most harrowing documentaries I ever seen. Like, you saw a promising young musician's career just completely spiral, completely out of control. To the point I did see there were some photos of her looking like an absolute junkie crackhead, and some comedians just mocking her addiction, which is really just horrible at best. And also her time in concerts where she would like slap herself in the face or just turn up completely drunk, which again I feel like, and also something that really slightly icks me out a little bit is that this was done in the approval of Amy Winehouse's estate, where it did depict in a documentary where her father, her estranged father, was seen as this overly pushy person that doesn't who pretty much controls Amy at every step of her turn. Again, which is something a little bit despicable in my opinion, but I'm just hoping that this doesn't become like this 2024's version of Blonde, where it just feels it's just going to add fuel to an already toxic discourse on Twitter. And for and of course we have a major releases for 27th of May. We have Furiosa and Mad Max Saga, which absolute looks amazing, like the Mad Max film series that came forward with Anya Taylor-Joy, Chris Hemsworth in the mix. And knowing that Mad Max Fury Road is already being considered one of the greatest movies ever made, my anticipation is like through the stratosphere for this movie. Like, I think this is the one of the many films I'm definitely going to see. No questions asked about it at this point. Even though it doesn't have Tom Hardy, it doesn't have Mel Gibson, depending what era you liked. But again, in my opinion, I just really want to check out. I just want to really go back to that post-apocalyptic Australian world again. And also we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes again, which again looks pretty nice as well, coming out the same day. But also there's May 24th, we have the Garfield movie with Chris Pratt and Samuel L. Jackson. Again, even though this was announced around the same time where Chris Pratt was just everywhere to the point there was a backlash ensuing against him, but I think I kind of like the trailer enough to say, yeah, I might give it a go, so I might check it out. Summer releases. And for June 7th, we have Ballerina, which takes place in the John Wick universe as well. And also it has Ana de Armas from Blonde and Knives Out and Blade Runner 2049, which is a brilliant actress at the moment. And also, surprisingly, has Lance Reddick and Keanu Reeves in the movie as well, because even though I don't want to give away any spoilers for John Wick Chapter 4, but if you know, you know, but also for Lance Reddick as well, because he had unfortunately passed away only weeks before the John Wick film premiered, unfortunately, but it did say on IMDb that he does star in the movie, which is a little bit suspicious in my opinion. Just, I'm not saying negatively or anything, but I'm guessing this was filmed before his death, or this is going to use like unused footage, or use some flashbacks around him, or just filmmakers working very creatively around his unfortunate demise, unfortunately. But again, Ballerina, I'm pretty looking forward for that movie. A week later we have, or 14th June, we have Inside Out 2, which is going to be absolutely amazing, hopefully. Even though Disney and Pixar are going through a really rough patch, which they unfortunately hadn't gone over since the pandemic rolled in. Like, I think after Toy Story 4, I can't name any like Pixar movies that was legitimately successful in the box office. Yes, I know. Like Soul was successful. Yes, Turning Red was successful critically and commercially, and so is Luca. But they'd never had that grip in the box office anymore. Like, the clout in the box office pretty much vaporized overnight. Of course, there was the Elemental film, which was successful but only by skin of its teeth. But knowing Inside Out is definitely one of the biggest films they've made in their category, their catalogue in 2010s. And definitely is one of my personal favourite Pixar films, so I'm definitely want to check that film out. On the same day, we have 14th June, of course, we have Bad Boys 4, which again is going to be Will Smith's first major film since the Oscar slap, and of course a fallout with Jada Pinkett Smith after it turned out that he and Jada had unfortunately separated from 2016 or 17, I think, something like that. But I'm just going to stand by and see what the reaction overall is going to be like, and if people are going to turn up for that movie at all. There's 28th of June, we have A Quiet Place Day 1. Unfortunately, I haven't got around to watching the other two Quiet Place movies, but I'm trying my best at this point, really. And over to July, we have 5th July, we have Despicable Me 4. I like the first two Despicable Me movies. The third one was definitely passable at best, but I like the first Minion movies, but I haven't got around to watching the second Minions movie, unfortunately, since around that point I was starting work at the cinema I'm now still working at. But again, still no trailers, surprisingly, unless they're going to show it at Super Bowl or something. But again, I'm up to see where Gru and the gang and the Minions are up to. And this is, for 19th of June, this is definitely up in my end because I'm a 90s person per se. But we have Twisters on 19th of July, which is a sequel from the film from 1996, Twisters, which is again a sci-fi movie about people that chase tornadoes, essentially. Like, there's a massive subculture about it, surprisingly. Like, I'm not sure how connected Twisters is to the original Twister, unless if it's a spiritual remake, spiritual sequel or something like that, or direct remake, sequel, blah 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 blah. But again, I'm definitely up to something. And 26th of July, the only MCU movie this year, which is very, very surprising, but does make sense altogether. It's Deadpool 3, with Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine, because, again, spoiler alerts for anyone who hadn't watched Logan, he was killed off in Logan. But for Ryan Reynolds, who definitely is definitely getting a lot bigger and bigger each year. Like, Fall Guys was one of the biggest films post-pandemic. He's now the owner of the football team Wrexham in, I think, League 1 now, or League 2? No, League 2 at the moment. But again, since it is definitely one of Marvel's more darkly comedic films they've done, I definitely want to check out that film. But again, with the MCU and a surprising lack of like Marvel and let alone superhero presence in 2024, considering that most of them, with the exception of Spider-Man in Spider-Verse and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, all of them did really badly, like in the box office or even critically at best. Again, I think it's just a case they want to do quality over quantity, like as opposed to 2023 where it's like quantity over quality. And we have 16th of August, we have Alien Romulus again, or the an Alien prequel, but I'm not sure how connected it is to the Prometheus movies and Alien Covenant, since I'm not sure if Michael Fassbender is going to be returning for this movie at all, and how involved Ridley Scott is in this movie, since he did direct the two previous movies that came. But again, since I am a pretty big Alien fan myself, so I might give that a shot, like I do with all Ridley Scott movies. And we have Kraven the Hunter at 30th of August. Like, this movie got delayed a whole year due to the strikes, but something doesn't ring right to me, because after Venom got the I'll watch it on Netflix reception, and Morbius got pretty much memed to death on Twitter, on essentially being how awfully received the movie was and how dated these storylines was. I feel like Gavin the Hunter just feels like a Morbius in basically more of a safari skin. Like, Morbius goes to the zoo for a change and identifies as a lion. Again, I think this is one I'm most cautious about. I'm more anticipating the Twitter backlash against the movie, in my opinion. Autumn releases. For September 6th, 2024, we have Beetlejuice 2, which is, again, a sequel to Tim Burton's one of the most famous films he did, Beetlejuice. This time starring Jennifer Ortega, Catherine O'Hara, William Dafoe, and Monica Bellucci. Again, I'm pretty excited for this movie as well. But 4th of October, gets really big. We have Joker, Fleur de Dox, or Trouble for Two, which is translated in French. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, as well as the Joker, of course, Brandon Gleeson, and also Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Even though there is some debate about the legitimacy of a sequel, considering that the first one was such a firestorm, like a firebrand of a superhero movie. Given around 2019, where superhero movies were just peaking left, right, front, and center. But now with this all, culture has definitely changed to the point we barely get to see them nowadays. And definitely, making a fire-branded film is kind of like a bit of a weird stars align moment, in my opinion. Considering that a bunch of right-wing YouTubers are just saying, "Oh, let's pick a fight with any movie imaginable just because it went woke." Again, which is a very dumb discourse to go down to. But again, I am very excited to check out what the Joker's up to in this one, because apparently this is going to lean towards a more musical direction, because again, with Lady Gaga in the mix, you bound to know it's going to have a lot of music into it, unless if you count House of Gucci. And we have 8th of November, we have Paddington in Peru. Again, the two Paddington movies were absolutely gigantic hits at the moment, both critically and commercially, and starring Olivia Colman, Jim Broadbent, Antonio Banderas, and also Ben Whishaw as titular bear himself. Again, this time he goes back to his roots in Peru, or deepest darkest jungles of Peru. Again, since I absolutely love the Paddington movies, and considering how they've grown on me more and more over time, I'm definitely going to check out this movie, no questions asked about it. And 22nd of November, this is a very interesting one for me. We have Gladiator 2, this time with Paul Mescal and of Pedro Pascal and Denzel Washington, Connie Niesel. Again, this is going to be absolutely huge, since it's definitely one of my personal favourite movies of all time, the first Gladiator, and also Ridley Scott's back to directing the movie. Even though his past one with House of Gucci and with, unfortunately, Napoleon had been somewhat inconsistent in the critical term of things, but I'm hoping the second Gladiator movie will turn things around. And a very interesting trivia tidbit of mine is that I actually went on a cruise ship around Malta when I was on holiday last October, and there was a set still standing there, like on the coast side of Malta. Yeah, even it was just a little bit away from town centre or the capital of the city, Valletta, or whether I mispronounced it or something. But again, this was again during the strikes, and so there was no one on set, of course. But again, yeah, I actually had photos on my Instagram page about it. So yeah, I'm very, 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 very excited about the new Gladiator movie. 24th November, we have the Wicked musical adaptation with Ariana Grande, which, even though no trailers have been published as of far yet, but I think it did garner some controversy just because this set photo has been like the first official set was like two really far away shots and two very distant shots of the main actresses. Again, even though I'm not the biggest theatre person in the room, but I'm definitely want to check that out. And on the 13th December, going into Christmas territory at this point, we have Lord of the Rings, The War of Mararim. If I mispronounced that, I do apologise. Again, this feels a little bit weird, even though, yes, it does go into animation territory with this one. I feel this is, again, by Warner Brothers, who own the Peter Jackson movies of Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, but on the Amazon iteration of it. This does feel like a bit of an ego stroke at best. Like, it does feel really a bit corporate at best. I think the only way you could win me over is probably have Peter Jackson back in the realm. Like, maybe, I'm not sure as director, but hopefully as producer, like, have his fingerprints over it. I heard some good things about the Amazon ones, but I do remember fondly more of the original Lord of the Rings films by Peter Jackson, but again, I'm being a little bit cautious about this one. And last, and certainly not least, we have 20th December. We have Sonic 3, even though I haven't got around to seeing the other Sonic movies, in my opinion, but I heard they're pretty good. And also, began a wave of video game movies being actually good. Like, we had like Last of Us, we had like Edge Runners, Cyberpunk, and we also had like a whole smorgasbord, and we also had like Mario, which was actually surprisingly good, and we also had Dungeons and Dragons, which did really well, but I'm hoping Sonic 3 keeps up the hot streak. And then we have Mufasa, The Lion King, which is a prequel to Lion King. Okay, yes, it's a prequel to a live action film. Who cares? Bye. So, what are your most anticipated films of 2024? Let me know in the comments down below. Follow me on social media like Twitter and Instagram and Letterboxd, and like this video, subscribe to my channel and dislike Wells. And bye.